All right, we are live and hope everybody is doing very well. All right, because we're in a crazy ass place going through crazy ass things, and you need to have your sanity in a place like this. You really do, because this is insane. And if you fall, I mean really fall, you fall to your emotions, you fall to your desires, you fall to your passions, you fall to all those things that make you upset, that make you feel that it's, oh, that's wrong, that's really wrong. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. You're just carrying a fire that, doesn't need to exist. You could deal with the exact same thing with peace and understanding and compassion and empathy. But you got to get rid of the initial response of being an asshole. And since everybody's an asshole, then we got to really get our heads out of our ass and not act like that, and not respond like that. Because if you think you're not having that kind of thing, even the subtlest thing, it's crazy. Because we have a whole country, that voted the craziest man on earth that's never been in politics before. He's not a lawyer, he's not anything. He's a real estate agent who got on TV and conned a lot of people and went to jail. They can go to jail, but had to put out millions of dollars for a fake university and all kinds of stuff. Raping little girls. He was just in process of going to jail for that. So all these things we know of this guy. What for any reason whatsoever did you consider him to be a possibility for your president of the United States? Where was your head? In your ass. It's the only place it could have been. The only place it could have been. And it was up your ass so freaking far, you could not see the light of day. All you could do is live in shit. Listen to the shit. And be part of it. Just love that asshole. Trump. Biggest asshole you ever met. All he does is act like an asshole. He talks like an asshole. He's mean like an asshole. In every way, shape, or form, he is the epitome of what we would think of as an asshole. But he's your leader. That's how you got your head up your ass. Because he's lying. He's lying. He's taken away everything. There isn't a thing he doesn't lie about. Not a thing. He even exaggerates his lies. It's so wonderful. And yet, here Mar-a-Lago comes in, and the FBI goes in, and finds, records that are so against the law for anybody to have. So against the law. It should shock the shit out of us. There isn't a person in the United States, in the government that we have, with the legal situations that we do, and we don't like spies. We're democracy. We can't stand that sort of thing. It just drives us crazy to think that a Russian spy would be over here doing their thing, and or creating terrorism. Coming into our country, messing around like that, blowing up our buildings and stuff. But if you look at it, people, they're Americans that are doing it. Terrorists. White supremacists. They're the ones blowing up the buildings. Only a rare few of real terrorists that come from other countries have come here to create terrorism. It's so rare. It's so rare, And the real reality is that it's Antifa. It's the asshole. Antifa. It's the asshole. White supremacists. The asshole, with his shotgun and his machine gun and, their military garb, and or police garb, as though they are the police. And they tell you this, And these people, before Trump, they blew up the FBI building. Yeah? Killed hundreds of little children. Yeah? In Oklahoma. Yeah? Look it up. It's our history. It's an American terrorist history. And we've had American terrorists for so long. Yeah? And they kill lots of people. They go into schools and they kill children. They're only 16, 17 years old. You know, they go into McDonald's and they kill people. You know, they get pissed off working for some place and come back with a gun. That's a terrorist, people. That's going to terrorize you. That's terrorism. And that's violence. That's passion. That's desire. That's where it goes. It doesn't go towards your desired body of what you want out of life and the things you're going to do in life and how you're going to deal with life and any of that. It goes with lies. Your mind constantly on an album, going from one track to the next, all based on lies. Lies you tell yourself, lies you hear from someone else, things that support it, and it creates your emotional body. It creates your what you see as the physical world. And you go, QAnon does exist. Conspiracies do exist. Deep state really does exist, you know. All these things you can't even define. You put your life on. You really think they exist. Yeah? Or you think Trump's really going to get Mexico to pay for our wall. How stupid are you? How far up your ass did it go? He keeps shoving, you know, going, I'm going to tell you another story. You know? Yeah, I'm going to take this all the way across the border all the way. Yeah, when I get to 40 miles, I'm going to say, oh, okay, we did it. Yeah, we did it. We made 40 miles and we're done. You know? And, you know, we're there. We're all watching. We're just going, Jesus, you know? And then he goes, and the media, you know, they say it's all a lie, you know. Oh, crap, we're all watching. We're the media. We're the media. You know, and he hates us. He hates us. But you don't get it. You don't get it. He hates media that hates you. Yeah? If he jumps on a media that really hates you, then he jumps right on it. And it's, you know, it's you know, One American News or something, or, you know, C-Max, kind of a Max kind of thing, or Fox, you know, wherever the evilest, angriest, most obvious, stupidest people are that hate people, literally hate people, you know, he'll stand behind it. And they will be standing behind him because they're a hate group. They're a desire body, has an outcome. Yeah. Imagine this guy's been doing this for a long time. Yeah. A long, long time. And so has America. You know, we've been an extremely hateful group. Not everybody, but it's enough, you know, to realize that we haven't worked out most of what we need to work out. You know, we haven't healed a lot of things. You know, when the hippies came, they said meditation, let's do, you know, herbal medicine, let's take New Age into what would be a good healthy state, a way of living, a lifestyle, you know. Let's consider solar, let's consider wind generators, let's worry about the earth and the greenhouse effect that they tell us about, you know. Hippies thought about shit like that, you know, brought it up, you know, picketed, you know, made people aware of it, you know, tried to do something about it. You know, but those are small mass of people. That's a small mass of people. And now we're in the year 2022. And it has caught up with us. We're now, all the people of America now are in the shoes that hippies were in. They were aware. They were aware we have a greenhouse effect. They were aware that the assholes in politics are Republicans and they lie and they'll steal from you and it's not worth being involved in. That's what hippies did. Simply did not want to be involved in the political arena because it's all lies. It doesn't take care of anybody. Poverty's not taken care of. Food stamps, you're lucky to have them, they say. The whole process that we're in is due to violence, due to non-democratic reality. And it's been going on a long, long time. We saw it during Kennedy period. We saw it with people fighting against races, fighting against classes, fighting against, whether or not we should be in war, a belief system of what we should or shouldn't be doing. We all just jump up and our desire bodies go wacky. We burn down cities, we beat up people, we segregate people, we make sense. What we think is real, making sense, kind of deciding to do something about it. But in reality, we're violent. We're not doing anything about it. We are violent. Our representatives in the military are violent. Our representatives in the police are violent. You can't be violent in the military and you cannot be violent in the police. The truth is, you have to be a peacekeeper. A peacekeeper. That means you have to be psychologically so grounded. Like an astronaut. You're so tested through fear orientation. Being left on an island with no food whatsoever, none. You're in a survival mode. Every astronaut goes through that. Every astronaut goes through a process of being stuck in a situation as though they're on the moon and they have very little supplies and their oxygen's running out. What do? And they sit for weeks in that condition, figuring it out. It scares the shit out of you. By the time you get halfway through it, you believe you're really in it. You really do. Psychologically, you can't help it. Just like being on the island when you have no food or anything. This shit really goes on. And the reason why it goes on is because we need the truth. We need people who can handle the truth. And when it comes down to not meeting their desires, not meeting their passions, not meeting their interest, and all of a sudden they break up. They break down. They get pissed off. They won't accept the view. And you can't have that with an astronaut. Test pilots are good ones for that. That's why they were the first astronauts. They had the shit scared out of them. Flying in a plane that can't fly at as fast as Mach 1, Mach 2, Mach 3. In a rocket ship, you're literally flying an X-15. The amount of integrity that we set up for that level of knowing who can go to the moon, and now that's shut down. We're not putting teachers through that. We're not putting engineers through that. We're not putting people who want to go into space through that. We're not doing the process. We have to do the process. We have to check for integrity. We have to check. And we have to test. And then we have to train. And it takes a long time to break down the process of us being spontaneously hateful and aggressive and unable to make a decision that discerns and discriminates and turns the wheel of dharma, turns the wheel of an outcome that could not have been changed if we walk in there with those attributes. So we get this. It's all in our world. It's everywhere, all around the world. And we are in America right now, and all of America is under a focus over the fact that we have to end hate. We have to end hate. It's not a little thing. It's been around for a long, long time, But we're going to do it. We're going to end hate. We're going to end the law that was established by hate. And there is a law that's established by hate that creates your lower nature. Your very lower nature. Yeah, how you look out your eyes, how you react to things, whether or not you want sugar or not. It's all based on your lower nature. And your lower nature is based on having been beaten up, tortured, and killed. PTSD. You all got it. From past lives or now. You know? So how are you going to discern whether or not you want sugar? You know, or you need sugar? You can't. It's virtually impossible. You know? So a lot of people go through addictions, alcoholism. They put sleeves of tattoos all the way down their arms. Sleeves. And it's not like they look down and they go, yeah, that's my mom and my dad and my memories, you know. No, it's just a frickin' sleeve of a blue and a green and a red and a it has no meaning. No meaning. There's no purpose behind purposelessness. And that's where hate takes you. You live in a world where your life extends to purposelessness. And that happens in most people. If we go back through history, we'll find so many people back in the West in the 1800s just whittling in purposelessness, you know? Just afraid of the Indians or afraid of the cowpoke that's going to come up who's drunk and wants your wife because she's prettier than the other girls. And he just shoots you in the head and drags her off. That's life, people. That's history. Mental illness was a whole lot worse than it is now. A whole lot worse. It got so bad we built institutions to get them off the street. Yeah. And it was people who wore hats that was poison, and people who drank, you know, rot gut whiskey that had poison in it. And all the things in our environment gave us so much poison, so much toxicity. But you know nothing about homeopathy. You know nothing about energetic medicine. And when you go through a life after life after life, like syphilis, or psychosis, craziness, or poisons from arsenic, mercury, lead, silver, salt. How much salt did we used to put in our food in order to keep it fresh? And then we chew down on it, you know? We did. We still do. We still do. You know, we're dumb as shit. Dumb as shit. Head up the ass. Dumb as shit. That's just the way it is till you get your head out of your ass. Yeah? And you have no idea you got your head in your ass because you were born with your head in your ass. You know? You come that way. You come that way. That super sucks, people. Sorry for you. You know, because the chakras are not meant to be like that. But when the chakras are the way they are, and the way they're flowing, and then it allows us to accept really evil characteristics that manifest in the world, you know, and they manifest in lesser and lesser qualities, from a really stupid person just being physical, not being real smart, not being real emotionally clear or anything like that, but they're moved by their outside environment, you know, so they have no free will whatsoever. None, you know. And then the next person up a little higher thinks that they have superiority over this person who has no free will already, you know. And being in that circumstance, your head is in your ass. Yeah? It's not a world designed for us to be here. It's not a world set up for us to understand each other. If you look at the United States and all the rest of the countries, the United States is the worst place for helping people, for medicine, free medicine, for insurance, for getting a day off or getting a whole month off and having a vacation, let alone a paid vacation. But it happens. In this world, it happens. And those people work out violence. Yeah? A lot of those countries are countries that don't go to war. They don't go to war. Yeah. They just said, nope, no, we're neutral. We're neutral. We don't go to war. You know? And they just pull back and, you know, but time comes along and all of a sudden we got Russia and everybody else is going, wow, don't you think maybe you might want to go with NATO? And it's usually those countries that have now need to go to NATO are people who have found their way to peace. Yeah? By paying taxes and collecting taxes and giving good social services to their system of society. And that raised up their entire consciousness of society to be less violent. Less violent. And that's all throughout Europe. It's all throughout many countries. You can go there and you'll feel a lot happier. You would have more joy. Yeah, you wouldn't flip out. Police won't attack you, track you down. They, you know, you get stopped by a cop. You don't know where you're going. You don't know whether or not you're going to be shot, a knee in your back, you know, whether or not somebody else is using your driver's license and they're looking for a bad guy looking in your name. That happens here a lot. Yeah. But it doesn't happen in other countries unless you're in Russia, unless you're in China, unless you're in North Korea. You know, but it happens here. Why? How can it happen here? Yeah. It happens here because we have a mass of people that are white supremacists that represent the same thing in other countries like Russia, China, yeah, North Korea. They hate America. Woo. They live by hate. China, the whole government lives by hate. Superiority, they live by superiority. Superiority is the purpose behind hate. It's an illusion, a delusion. Yeah? And in order to maintain that position, you must hate. You must hate. You never can sense equality. You can never sense that people are justified in their human rights. Yeah? If it steps on your toes, if it steps on your income, if it steps on your situation, I won't vote for it. You know? They can all go to hell. And every major country that goes into capitalistic behavior behaves like that. Yeah? Whether you're in Africa or whether you're in Israel or whether what country you're at. Arabia. Yeah? Greed is hate. Yeah? Selfishness is hate. Yeah? It's small bits and pieces. It's there. Yeah? And it turns us inward. It turns our chakras downward. Yeah? It sticks our head in our ass. Automatically. We can't pull it out. You know? We can't make a change. We're born with this crap as though, you know, we're destined to live out the shit that we were given. As though we're cast. And we're not. We're not. Even though your chakras go down like this, even though you're raised in the wrong place, yeah, I can heal that. I can heal it. Nobody else can heal it. Absolutely. Nobody else can heal it. Yeah. But I can heal it because I know where you went wrong. And I know where everything is wrong right now. Yeah. So it's all a matter of catching the dark lodge. You know, getting the dark lodge to shut down. Have it turn in on itself because it's hate. Yeah? The law of hate and the White Lodge knows that the law of hate can never cooperate. It can't. Yeah? So it involutes. That's its outcome. And God is the one that's doing it. God is involutionary to the Dark Lodge. And the Dark Lodge is consistently moving in an involutionary state, where everything else is moving in an evolutionary state. So we're all like, you know, well, we love windmills. Isn't this green thing going on? Isn't that great? That infrastructure, this Biden scenario, and wow, I mean, trillions of dollars. Can you imagine? We get nice roads, and we're going to get housing that isn't really expensive. We're actually going to get tiny houses that we're going to get at a very low price, and we're going to get hospital care that is basically free. And the elderly will be taken care of, and the little children will be taken care of, and there will be situations for mothers who are just giving birth to a child who then can stay at home and not lose their job, or go to a job, and that job has care for the child, a care center. Every big job has to have a care center for women. They have to, and that's the way you go. Other countries, that's just the way it is. When you get pregnant, you go in and you say, pregnant. Oh, wonderful, clap, clap. Everybody's happy. Everybody goes into service. Everybody's right there. And they keep that with you. They take you all the way. They give you a midwife. They come to your house. They make sure you know how to nurse. They make sure you've got clothing. If you don't have money, you get all kinds of benefits to bring that in. If you don't have a place to live, all kinds of benefits surround you to make sure you're okay. This is real truth stuff. It's where we're going. This Biden infrastructure bill is turning us 30% Democratic, where before we were more 30% Republican. And sitting on the edge as to what is Democratic and what is communist. Is Democrats a communist? Are they socialist? Are they da-da-da-da? I mean, if you even mention that side of things, it jumps all the way to this ridiculous presence of there being socialists and Democrats. But the real truth is that we are all being blessed to peace, being moved to peace. And we're getting there because the technologies and the advancements that come from the chakras that are healed receive my communication. And those people have their heads out of their ass. They really do. They're building you shit faster than you can imagine, and you're ready for it. Why? Because your head is getting out of your ass. And you have to do this intentionally. You can't join a religion or anything, the out of the ass religion, But it's happening. Jesus Christ is here. It's a saving grace. This is the time of redemption. And I do it really low key. Because it's not me. It's God. God put me here, and I'm here to witness, and I'm just to live my day out. Just one day after another. I just have to keep living. Because I put out a spin called peace. I put it out. And it radiates. And it has healthy chakras that gives you peace. And it gives the nations peace. The nations have souls and personalities. And it's my soul and personality, not theirs. And your soul and personality that you will awaken to is not yours, it's mine. That means that you're receiving bodhisattva qualities. You're awakening your true nature, the person you were born to be, without your head up your ass. Where you could see things, and you discern things, and you fix things, and you don't feel insecure. You feel a sense of security. Day by day, you get a sense of security. Because you're picking up what's going on in the future. And the Dark Lodge can't do that. They only have the astral plane. They only have what they hope to happen, their passions, their desires, all those things that is turning that wheel, of capitalism and everything, all those things that we think, oh, that can never be changed. Trust me, it can be changed. We had great difficulty with the process of the people who were born in the 70s to the 80s. But we have a new group of people coming in. And a great deal of people came in during the 70s, 80s, a new group of world servers. And they're still alive today. But we have another group of people that are truly, truly high initiates. And they're all people who used to have etheric weavers. They used to have vajras. They used to sit in their pyramid and listen to my pujas, maybe 20, 30 years, and died. Yeah. They died over the last 15 years. Yeah. And they come right back. But they come back so potent, so peaceful, so much their head out of their ass. Yeah. That they're fully capable of taking on politics. Every group, every single area of the new group of world servers, this group is going to master. They're just little kids right now, but, you know, at 15 years old, they're all going, that's my electric car. That's the one I want. You know, I want that 3-seater. You know, I want that 2-seater. I want that 1-seater. You know, they think and see that because they are the future. They're here to build our future. And they're not tattoo-written people. They'll never put a tattoo on their body. That'll all be gone. Yeah? All this hate is just going to go away. Yeah? And all it is life. It's the breathing, the cycle of life. But you got to realize Jesus Christ is here. I'm sitting here. And everything I'm telling you is magnified by 1,000,000 times more than what you think you're hearing. Yeah? Yeah? The little words that I put out are all the words of earth. It's the only words that are heard on earth. Everything is astral. Bullshit. It's muffled by the shit inside your ears and your mouth and your nose and all your orifices. Yeah? It's all attuned downward. Yeah? How hard is it to have a really insightful thought and carry it forward? You know, you can get an insight, but how far do you carry it forward? Too much trouble. Too much trouble. Like, in the end, what do you get? You get a backache. You get weak knees. You get all your joints are just all screwed up because you can't flow. You know, your opportunities are there, but you don't take them. If you take them by moving forward further, doing the best job you can, and whatever you're doing, making sure what comes out, and you don't forget, whatever comes around, it's your intention, it's your life, it's your purpose, you know. Those kind of things are real in everybody's life. Yeah, it's not like a religion. It's life. Just life. All it is life. But I'm here. I'm here. Jesus Christ is in charge of life. You don't get that, you know. I'm the guy in charge of the tree of life. You're my tree of life. Every living thing is my tree of life. Every movement that you make. Yeah? But the process is dis-ease, disorientation, yeah? Disunity. Yeah? Because people have dissatisfaction. Yeah? They have loyalty toward delusion and illusion. Yeah? Imagine you follow a character like this. Never understood wind. I know windmills very much. I have studied it better than anybody. You know, we have a world, right? Is that right? Do we? Claims windmills noise causes cancer. You figure that one out. Windmill noises cause cancer. Yep, yipsy daisy, sure do.
Why in God's name would someone think attacking law enforcement and occupying the United States Capitol is the best way to show that you're right?
I'd like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
That will never happen with me. I don't know if I'll do the fighting myself or if other people will. But that was a disgrace.
The third group, I'll be a little more violent. If you see somebody getting ready to throw a tomato, knock the crap out of them, would you? Seriously. Okay? Just knock the hell. I promise you, I will pay for the legal fees, I promise.
I love the old days. You know what they used to do to guys like that when they were in a place like this? They'd be carried out on a stretcher, folks.
Imagine what she put up with.
The verbal attacks on the FBI and the Justice Department on Trump and his allies. The attorney who represents whistleblowers, Mark Zaid, tweeted, quote, Trump, via Breitbart, released unredacted copy of property receipt containing names of FBI agents. Based on his history, this can only be interpreted as intentional to cause these special agents, one of whom I know, and their families grief and subject them to possible threats, Mark Zaid said. Your response, Karen Greenberg.
You know, my response is that this is just a replay on a different level in a different arena of January 6th. This is the call to violence on behalf of the former president and his treatment, this time under the law.
So that's what we get from violence. You know, this is an instigator of violence. This is a violent person. This is not a politician, not a police officer, not a person who ever served in the military, not a person who stood up to protect another person. Not at all. You know? He's a person that when you think about it, you know, he's got a lot of background in the relationship of violence. His relationship to his ex-wife, his relationship to how she felt about their situation. His violence was 24/7. Ex-wife Donald Trump, he made me feel violated during sex. I mean, all the time, yeah. He threw food, you know, all over the place, you know. He grabbed the wheel of an officer who wouldn't allow him to walk in the middle of the riot and be the center of attention as Washington, D.C. was going to be violated. He wanted to be in the center of that. Now, that would have been really worthy news. Yeah? But we didn't need that. We didn't need that. We didn't need his agents that were around him, you know, police officers and others trying to give security to him, shot, killed. Yeah, because no one would know the difference between them and the other police officers that are there, that they're beating up. Yeah. Yeah. So his process is violence 100%. But here we have Biden. I mean, what's going on?
Every Republican in the Congress voted against the bill. Every single Republican. Against lower prescription drug prices, against lower health care costs, against a fairer tax system, against tackling the climate crisis, lower energy costs, and good-paying jobs. And by the way, in the process, we reduced the deficit as well. This is a historic moment. The Democrats sided with the American people, and the Republicans sided with special interests. That's the choice we face.
And so, Kate, then what does this mean for Republicans and Democrats going forward?
Well, I mean, I think the president couldn't have said it better. He could not have laid it out more clearly, the choice here that the American people are going to have in the coming months between the Biden vision, the Democratic vision, and the Republican vision. So what happened this week was we saw passage of the Inflation Reduction Act, which was represented not only an effort to bring down costs, to bring down healthcare costs, energy costs, utility costs, but it also represented breaking the back of the special interests. I mean, think about how long pharma has been fighting to prevent Medicare from negotiating lower prescription drug costs. And this week, thanks to President Biden's leadership and the work of congressional Democrats, Senator Schumer, of course, Senator Manchin, we have seen that finally Medicare is going to be able to negotiate for lower prescription drug costs, which is going to have a real tangible impact for families all across the country who are sitting at their kitchen tables, working through their budgets. So, this is something that President Biden campaigned on. You remember, he talked about creating an economy that works for the middle class, creating breathing room for the middle class. And so this week he stood up to the special interests and got it done.
That's fact. Yeah. There's no shit on that guy's toes, on his nose, in his hair, anywhere. His head has been out of his ass all his life. Yeah, he's gone through every struggle. He's maintained his service. 40 years in the Senate, that's a long time. And it's a hard job, very hard job to stay credible, not fall into these places. If you listen, if you go back, you could see him every single time. Any big thing that ever happened to anybody, he was the guy standing there. He was the guy pushing the bill through. He was the guy who wrote the bill, There wasn't a President Clinton, there wasn't anybody, that wasn't influenced by this man being in the Senate and keeping democracy moving during the time when things were going to the left-hand side. Totally not good, yeah? So there's this process, and then everybody have projections, that, America, we don't behave in the right ways, therefore we don't have the gas, it must be Biden, our bills are going up and the food is going up and the cost of living is going up, it must be Biden, And yet, if you just watch the news around the world, see what's going on in Italy, see what's going on in France, it's a million times worse than here. And they're all burnt up, and their inflation is much higher than here. Much higher. Check this out.
Roxana, inflation is now at a 40-year high in the UK. How expected is this?
Well, Vlad, inflation has been rising here for months, but this increase was higher than economists had expected. The rate jumped more than 0.5% from June to July. That means consumer prices have risen more than 10% in a year, and that's a faster pace than in the U.S. The Bank of England had said inflation could peak at over 13% later this year, but they didn't think it would hit double digits so soon. The last time inflation was in the double digits here was back in 1982. And you mentioned high food prices. Well, milk and flour are around 30% more expensive than they were last year. Butter and pasta are also much pricier. So are other staples like toilet paper and toothbrushes, and energy bills are surging.
Yeah, but it had nothing to do with Biden. Shit happens, people. Shit happens. Look around. You'll stay a lot calmer if you realize that, wars in different locations and ships that have all kinds of freight on it, bound for America, bound for Europe, stuck, unable to move for almost a year. That's trade, an enormous amount of trade. Oil that's been locked down, nobody can use it. And all of UK used to buy all their oil from Russia, and no oil from Russia anymore. So how much are they spending for their oil from other locations? They're getting it. If it's not oil, it's coal. They're paying higher prices. They're paying higher prices. They're paying higher prices to move it to locations, to get it to the store, to get it from the farmer. It's costing more. That's normal. That's normal. But only in our heart can we see this. We can't see this in our solar plex. Our solar plex gives us a stupid mind, full of shit. And we just find fault, and we can't see the relativity. It's important to see relativity. You know, common sense gives us relativity. You know, but we can't reach common sense unless we pull back. Yeah, and take on a different connection within our aura. If we're playing politics and we're jumping on a bandwagon, you know, Trump, oh, this and Trump that, and they're after Trump, and, you know, if you even got a thought of that anywhere in your system, you're lost. Completely lost. So many things have come down. Even Fox News is turning against Trump, finding that this is really outrageous what he's done, you know. I mean, you know, classified records in a hotel, you know, really? In a resort, you know, in a place where people go to a ballroom to have weddings, it's stored there in a closet. Really? Yeah. Then it got moved from there to down in a basement. And because it's in a basement, it's supposedly more secure. But all you got to do is go to the guy who does the cleaning and say, open it up. Yeah, because everybody's got a key. Everybody's got a key. It's a freaking hotel. It's not his house. Yeah. Fire hazards and shit like that require that this kind of stuff happens, unless you're in a secure place like the Pentagon or the CIA, and, you know, we have all kinds of ways to keep fire from getting to it. You know, it's blocked by tons of cement and all kinds of things, literally. You know, if you go into these places, there's no doors down that hallway. That is cement. And it's like 20 feet thick. And it's serious. And there's a guard down there with a gun, a machine gun and everything. You know, and looking straight in your eye as you're giving your ID. And if you're a liar, you know, that's the moment it's going to come down. You know, so no one's walking past this security, getting past that door, showing their ID, and then get to things that Trump had just walked away with. Yeah. We got to really pay attention to the process at hand. Yeah, because this is espionage. This is he's selling records, espionage. He's selling them. If it's not for his ego, yeah, oh, come and look, you know, I've got this, that, yeah, he's selling it. He's selling his soul. He's selling our country. Yeah? Yeah? Under a delusionary concept of him being a patriot and a president. We got to see him for who he really is. He needs to be shut down really fast. Yeah? You got to know that if he had 25 boxes and they go back and he has another 15 boxes and you haven't even been to New York yet, why, Trump Tower, don't you think he would have like 100 boxes there? Because that's where he goes more than Mar-a-Lago. That's his office. That's his safe. That's his security. Guess what? FBI's going to walk in there real soon. And he's too stupid to know what I'm saying. He's too stupid to know that they're coming to Mar-a-Lago. Oh, that was a surprise. They like broke in the door, you know. They busted through, you know. It was a raid. You know, good grief, dude. It wasn't a raid. You've been asked. You've been given subpoenas, you know. They knock on your door all the time. They call you every third day, you know. And they watch the video of you moving shit that you say you don't have. That'll get you a subpoena. And that's what happened. They asked for 25 of the boxes they knew he still had. And he said, I don't have them anymore. That very afternoon, those boxes are moving from one room to another into a more secure place so that they wouldn't find it because they knew where they were. Yeah. And they were just asking him for them to kindly hand them over. But now when they ask for it and say, well, if you don't, we're going to come and get them, and they pick up and move them, that certainly gets the FBI a little tickled. Yeah, just a little. You don't think they're going to come knocking on your door within 24 hours. You're wrong. And they did. And they called everybody. They called the lawyers, they gave subpoena, they gave everything. Everything's up and up. So there is no such thing as busting down the door or, walking through the house like in a movie where they're ripping apart the bed and they're ripping apart clothes and they're tearing out the stereo and they're ripping up all. That's what he's trying to imply to people, that that's what they did. And they're trying to imply that they're a raid of a bunch of loony police officers that are just hate Trump. And they came as a group who hate Trump. Not as the FBI, but it's just like a bunch of drunks, breaking down his door, coming in. The truth is they went there without even FBI jackets on. They went in there with suits and dresses. Yeah. Handheld computers. They walked in with cameras. Yeah. They took the evidence and moved it out quietly. So not to disturb the guests. That's all the truth. You're going to find this is the truth. They were so proper. They were so professional. And it's all on camera. Everything Trump says, I'd like you to see what they did. I'll show you the camera of all the horrible things they did in my house. Yeah, well, please do. We'd love to see it. That must have been terrible. It'll be on YouTube for a long time. Well, I'm not going to do it. I'll make them do it. Yeah, right. As though he wants us to see everything written down. Yeah. That's the last thing in the world that man wants to see. Yeah. And it's the last thing in the world he wants you to see, that they were so professional and polite and didn't even wear FBI suits and didn't carry machine guns, didn't rip apart his sofa, didn't knock out the door. And the attorney was standing there where he says there was no attorney and no one witnessing the situation. The manager of the hotel was there. 2 attorneys were there. And 4 security guards. And the people, the president, what do you call them? The agents for the president. What is that called? Huh? Secret Service, yeah. I mean, they were there by the tons, surrounding the whole. You think they're going to say, oh, that's okay, rip apart his sofa. No, I don't think boss is going to like that. I don't think boss is going to like that. No, boss is not going to like that. Don't do that, boss. Boss is not going to like that. Don't you do that now, boss. No. Don't you know how to treat the boss? It's just the mafioso bullshit. And we're cleaning it up, people. This is where he's been. His lifestyle. Through violence. All of this is moved. Through violence, all this creates an astral process for us to live through. Whether it be a life of war, whether it be football, baseball, basketball, competitiveness, things that just don't let us grow. Things that torture us and make us less than who we really are. And gives us a false ego of who we think we are. Football player, basketball player gives you a false ego. You get nothing from it but a false ego. That's it. Yeah. So, but what do these guys get? For violence. Because we're in a world of violence. What do we ask people to do? Be violent. That's what we ask. Compete against each other violently. Violently. Yeah. Even to the little bit of playing baseball, sticks, catching. It's not a violent sport, but it's a competitive sport. And that by nature is violent. It's violent. It puts people against each other and you never really lose. Yeah? You're an athlete. You're an athlete. You never, ever lose. You're an athlete. But if you go into the dark side and something enters you to the point to where you're willing to be violent to win. Cheat, violence, compete, create a game that structures who wins. Create a game. Yeah. And that is only setting people up. so that they will be violent against each other. The Dodgers against the Redskins, this baseball team against that baseball team, your city against that city. Yeah, it leads to violence. It leads to enormous violence. And it's literally just our educational system. Yeah? It's a way for us to be educated so that we'll step into this world and fit in to this capitalist piece of shit that we're in, where everybody's competitive. It's the nature of the beast. Dog eat dog. Yeah? If you're not fighting for your right, for your money, somebody's going to get it. There's so many people that fall into evil because they're given $2,000 to go deliver something that's not right. But they're in their head, they're going, well, if I don't do it, somebody else will do it. And I'll be the one not taking $2,000 home to my family. So what am I? Am I stupid? Am I ignorant? Do I think something's going to come and catch me? Chances not. That's only because it's only a question of your morality, of your ethics. Yeah? You know that it's not right. You know that it's under the table. You know that this is, probably confiscated goods, stolen. All kinds of stuff happens in this world that you're choosing to be a part of. Yeah? And that's where we fall. And we don't know that this is what's going on. We can start off in grade school. We can start off in high school. Yeah? And we are selected, chosen, pushed, to enter this kind of bullshit. And it makes us absolutely disgusting people. Disgusting. The girls go off and they become these models. Oh my God, give me a break. They're so psychologically disintegrated. Yeah? That their ego is so distorted and destroyed that they can't see their true identity. They can't see that they're a girl. That's it. And that's great. That's a great thing. There's so many attributes of being a girl. Yeah, so many attributes. And we've never developed that. Ever. We developed models, we developed Playboy models, we developed actresses, we developed, makeup artists and all kinds of bullshit things. But what about the girl? What about the guy? Does the guy know what a guy is? No, not if you're going to put tattoos all up and down your arm. You don't know who you are. You're just a person, just a human being in a body, and that's as far as it gets. And you're trying to deal with that shit. And when you're in a male body, you got a masculine piece of bullshit running through you that is not good. When you're in a female body, you're subjected to illusions and delusions that keeps you from having a satisfying life of any kind. Any kind. Yeah, any kind. Any kind. Yeah? Because men can't see a woman outside of what they believe to be a woman, a model. And if you're not a model, you're ugly. Like most of the politicians say, well, you look like a thumb. That's why you don't get pregnant and you need to, abort your child because nobody wants you. Wow. 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 That shit is being said today in 2023 in a world of hate. World of hate. Listen to what Trump said to women and other men, what they say to women. And it's not because they don't love and they don't like and they don't care. It's because they don't know. They don't know. Women do not know what it is to be a woman. They don't have any idea. And men have no idea what it is to be a man. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to teach you, as children of God, how to be who you are. Completely liberated. But you must stop this bullshit. You cannot hate. You cannot be angry. You cannot be frustrated. Yeah? You cannot go on a rampage about people and their problems and their circumstances and how that bothers you. You can't do that. You can't. You have to stop doing that. Yeah? because you're planting astral seeds, and no one deserves this shit. Yeah, the less we do in that way, yeah, it takes a compassionate, comfortable person, comfortable in your body, you know, where you don't have those feelings, you know. You have to calm down. You have to eat right. You have to do things right. You have to feel your security growing, you know, or it's not going to be something you truly feel. You truly feel. And we have to get to a place to where we can start to feel, so that when you reincarnate, and you're going to reincarnate, you're all going to die, and you're all going to reincarnate, yeah? But you need to reincarnate as the person you are. And nobody does that yet. Everybody wants to be a boy girl, or a boy dog, or a girl dog, or a girl cat, or a girl horse, yeah? Or a girl flower, you know? Or a boy pig, or a boy bulldog, you know? Identity, people. It's an identity crisis. When you don't know, when you look at things, you think you identify with that, but it's not that. It's not that. What you identify is the energy that passes through you. A bulldog's energy passes through you. You take a bulldog and you take a person who is similar to a bulldog, and they're not hard to find. Yeah? People sniff their ass all the time. Yeah? They do really crazy stuff. Really crazy stuff. Yeah? And it's the energy from the lower kingdom. It's passing through you. And you're not evolved enough to become the human being you are. You're the animal. Does that make sense? Yeah? Because nothing about you shows the human characteristics of a Buddha. It shows the animal characteristics of territorial imperative. A psychological process between animals and tribes. Yeah? The biggest animal comes in, beats the shit out of the oldest one, you know, and all of a sudden that monkey's in charge, you know, and all the little monkeys are afraid, and they got to fall in line. If you watch it, you know, watch the Animal Channel if that's what you got to do. But it's all true, and we are all that. We are from the animal kingdom, and we're not from the animal kingdom. We are not apes that evolved into human beings. We're not. But because your head is up your ass, and your lower nature dominates you, then the essence of energy that you're picking up is from below you, not from above. Yeah? You're not picking up what Jesus is saying. You're not picking up what Buddha is saying. You're not picking up what the hierarchy is saying. You're picking up what the lowest human being is saying. And they're saying things on the characteristics of a beastly animal. Yeah? So what happens when that happens? We have enormous number of people in life that are having that experience. Well, I've been showing, that, when you play football, you get concussions, and you also get to be more violent. If you box, you get concussions. It may not make you more violent, but football will. Yeah? Because football tells you must tackle, maim, break, rip apart, tear the knees apart, shoot for the spine. It tells you that. Your coach tells you that. Then when you get back, they give you all the cocaine in your knee and all kinds of things to kill and deaden shit. Truly, they do that. They stick you in a hot or an ice pack or a hot tub and, shoot you full of shit. And during that 20-minute break, and you go right back out there and play more football. And this is the truth. I know. I've been there. Yeah. And it's what people say to you. None of them would go, whoa, I don't think so. No, because man up, man. Man up. What are you, a wimp? What are you, a girl? What are you, can't man up? You don't have the strength. You don't have the courage. Can't handle pain. You know, that's what they say to you to get you to take that shot. And then you do. And you feel so much different, so much better. You know, they include speed and other things, you know. Oh, take this pill and take this too and take this shot and this shot. All right, how you feel? Well, that's a miracle. That's a miracle. That's amazing. Yeah. President Kennedy was living on that. Elvis Presley was living on that. Major number of people were living on highballs. Yeah. Where they were killing their pain with different numbing drugs, you know, by Dr. Feelgood. And look him up. There is a guy known as Dr. Feelgood, and he treated Kennedy, he treated Elvis Presley. During that cycle of time, there were a number of people that were all led down a very bad road to continue doing what they're doing despite their suffering. And from that, you know, it gave them psychological imbalance. You know, there's nothing that they could do that would be right. Yeah, because everything goes wrong. Yeah. So it doesn't matter whether or not we're trying to get these things right or wrong. You know, we live in a society where things are aggressive and perpetuated by aggression. You know, so, and it's not just aggression. You know, we are enslaving people who are stupider than most. And because they're stupid, we tell them, you don't have a chance to make it in this world, but you could as a football player because you're 200, 300 pounds. You know, you're perfect for that. You run fast. And they're not saying that because they love athletes and they want to make you a better person. They're saying that because they can make $1 off of you. Your school can get more funding. Yeah, even if it's track and field. If you're good, they'll make more money. If you're boring, no one's going to show up. So the coaches are only interested in people who are going to break records, who's really going to do well. Big-ass burly guys who love to hate, love to be violent and highly egotistical. Yeah. So it leads us down the road to where we have people like this.
Rock Hill, South Carolina. A quiet town of just over 75,000. Dr. Robert Leslie is a well-known and well-respected physician here, running 2 emergency medical clinics.
They took you as you are. They loved you as you came to them. They loved everyone that they met.
It's a sunny Wednesday afternoon. Dr. Leslie, his wife Barbara, and 2 of their grandchildren, Ada and Noah, are all home. HVAC technicians James Lewis and Robert Shook are outside working.
911.
Yes, ma'am. I think we've had some trouble at 4456 Marshall Road.
What's going on Marshall Road?
I think there's been a bad shooting.
A concerned neighbor out cutting grass hears shots and sees someone in the distance.
The guy walked out of the house. I'm quite sure I've seen him from a distance. It looked like a black guy.
By 4:45 p.m., sheriff's deputies are called to the Leslie's home.
First deputies arrived on the scene 8 minutes after that, those 2 911 calls. Then we immediately began to assemble a team to clear the house of Dr. Robert Leslie.
Dr. Leslie, his wife Barbara, and their 2 grandchildren are all found dead on the scene, as well as the HVAC contractor, James Lewis. His colleague, Robert Shook, is critically injured.
Once we cleared the home, we found Dr. Robert Leslie, his wife Barbara, and their 2 grandchildren in a room in the back of the house, all deceased with gunshot wounds.
Did he find them in that room, or did he make his way into the house and force them all into a room at gunpoint? Perhaps, we'll see.
Neighbors nearby are evacuated as a search for a suspect begins.
Once the investigation began, we were able to develop Philip Adams as a suspect.
32-year-old former NFL player Philip Adams, whose parents live just minutes away from the Leslies, becomes the center of the investigation. Adams holes up in his family home, and a tense, hours-long standoff between Adams and law enforcement ensues, where investigators try to negotiate his surrender.
And so for a period of, it sounds like hours, they tried to communicate with somebody that didn't respond. So at some point, they decided to send a robot into the house to do an analysis and look for people
Just before 3 a.m., after clearing the home, police discover Adams dead after an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. Neighbors and loved ones stunned, left searching for answers. Adams' father speaking to an NBC affiliate this morning.
Well, I can say that he's a good kid. He was a good kid, and I think the football messed him up. So all I can tell you, we pray for the family that
that super sucks. Yeah. And that's the way it is throughout all of America. We have the largest number of prisons. The majority of those people are black or Mexican. Yeah. And they're there because they don't have an opportunity. They live in areas to where there are gangs. They're members of those gangs because they need to fit somewhere. Yeah. They don't see that they can go to school and go on to college. What's the sense? You know, is their parents going to pay for college? What's the sense of that? Is that real? You know, it is if they believe it. Yeah. But they don't. There's too much negativity, too much that goes on that pushes all around the cycles of poor neighborhoods, a lack of helping in society, a lack of social services, a lack of ability to give people mental health services, drug services, all kinds of things. Help people get into special schools if they don't want to go to a regular high school. Go to a technical school. Yeah. But in our America, you know, we don't have that infrastructure. We don't. You know, they want to take away food stamps. Imagine what that's going to do to the people psychologically. You know, how much more would it push you to have to rob, to join a gang, to make an income, to find a way, you know, to survive? You know, just ridiculous. And then there's football and all the other sports, and then there's the media in relationship to wanting to get to be a rock star or a rap star or all those things, and it just leads you down a delusionary piece of shit life. You know, and it leads you to extreme poverty and extreme waste. And all this is about waste. You know, we're spinning our wheels. We don't know each other. We don't know ourselves. You know, my job is to help you heal and to get you through a door that will take you to self-realization and self-actualization. Yeah? And you'll be self-fulfilled. Yeah, but we're not going to get like that unless you don't understand that Jesus is in the world and the Antichrist is also in the world. And having the Antichrist in the world, in this world, it's revving up violence beyond your wildest imagination and stupidity in the minds of many people who have past life relationships to dictators and military type of political control. Yeah? All those countries, all those things that went on, they're reliving themselves right now. Yeah? Reliving themselves. People think they want to do a civil war. No, it's not a civil war that they want. They want to behave like they did in Malaysia. They want to behave like they did in other countries and got away with it. They even commented on things like that. How come we can't bring the military in and have a coup like they did in that other place and got away with it? You know? That's because people who stand behind this violent piece of shit, you know, are coursed with energy that they can't control. They have no free will. They are channeling. And channeling is easy to stop. You don't understand fully what I'm talking about. Yeah? But channeling is a force that comes from human beings, not from dogs or cats or snakes or any of the things that you might think, dragons and all that kind of stuff. Yeah? No, it comes from human beings who became witches and warlocks. And in their long cycle of life, they continued doing that. And in that, they developed psychic ability like astrology and mediumship and channeling of different things. Belief systems that pressured people into believing something. Whether it be a religion or a dogma of some kind, We come from that area where these beings, these people, use those forces to get their free will. Get their free will. And that leads the world to capitalism. Channeling. Leads the world to capitalism. Because all they're channeling is materialism. They're not channeling God. They're not channeling love. They're not channeling communion. They're not channeling understanding. They're not channeling the ability to see things differently. Yeah? They're channeling to make sure everybody sees things the same. Yeah? They're channeling that they're out after us. They're all bad out there. They're after us and we're the good guys. Paranoia? Nah, I don't know what you're talking about. But they're all after us. Yeah, QAnon, yeah. Paranoia? No, not me, no. I'm not paranoid, I'm telling you, I'm common sense. Yeah, you know. And that's the way they talk. Drove their families crazy. Do you even hear the word QAnon anymore? No. Why? Why? Because the devil is getting smaller. He has less power to channel. We passed bills that could have never been passed. The biggest bills in existence during the manifestation and the overthrowing of Satan. Yeah, you would think, boy, if Satan has power, he'd really get pissed at us and turn everything upside down. Make us all aware that, there is no such thing as greenhouse and, all this stuff. Yeah. But that's not the case. People are awakening. They even have laws against awakening. Yeah. In Florida, DeSantis wrote a law against awakening. You can't teach. You can't give speeches. You can't write books. You can't do anything. You got to take the Bible out of school. Yeah. That's a law against awakening. Awoken. Yeah. You can't talk about differences between people and that we shouldn't have, these things going on, differences. You can't talk about that. You can't talk about the past. You can't talk about social conditions. You can't talk about any of those things because you're trying to wake people up. And that's against the law. So we won't have that. Yeah. And it's against the law to mandate people to wear a mask. Yeah, it's against the law. Yeah, because they would be awake. They would make a decision that would be helpful for everybody. Oh no, that's against the law. That's against the law. So certain states are creating, like the first state that said, no, women cannot abort a child ever for any reason whatsoever. One state did that. And 3 states jumped on the wagon and said, oh, I'm up for that, I'm up for that. And these are the most hillbilly bullshit states in the union. And of course they're up for it. But do you really think that's going to last? It's not. It will not last more than 3 years. Max. It will be completely gone. Because bills are signed overnight. That was signed overnight. Yeah. And it could be flipped in a minute. And all it takes is for people to stop working with this tyrant. And they'll stop doing tyranny on other people. And they'll stop wanting to play football. They'll stop thinking that they have an insecure life ahead of them. And therefore they have to sell their soul. And follow this bullshit Kardashian thing, or this bullshit rap thing, or this bullshit, football thing, or basketball. And rather than just being a person. The best person you could be. Yeah? Be the best person you could be. Yeah? You'd be able to marry the best person you could find. Have the best kids you can have. Live the longest life you can possibly live. And everybody loves everybody in that family, and they take care of each other as you get older. Yeah? That's nature. That's nature. That's not a dream. That's nature. Yeah? We're here to do this. Yeah? But if you're an asshole, you're going to get divorced all the time. And you're going to beat your wife, and your wife's going to beat the shit out of you. And no one's going to believe it, and you're going to be pretty bad off for it. But that's nature, folks. Lower nature. When you're an animal. When the beast has got you. Yeah? So let's change that. Yeah, let's do some puja. Oy, oy, oy. Okay, just repeat after me. I invoke the power, the love, and the wisdom of your ashram, soul, and monad. To guide you into the right activity in the plan. To clarify and stimulate your mind. To transform and transmute your feelings and emotions. To energize and vitalize and heal your physical and etheric body. So there is a normal flow of energy in your physical and etheric body. Through this day and every day, I ask this in the name of the Christ to serve the One. All in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
I am a messenger of light. I am a pilgrim on the way of love. I do not walk alone, but I know myself as one with all great souls, and one with them in service. Their strength is mine. This strength I claim. My strength is theirs, and this I freely give. A soul, I walk on earth. I represent the One. past has gone. I am that past. It makes me what I am. The future comes. I also am the coming destiny, and therefore I am that. The present flows from out the past. The future colors that which is. I make the future also by my present knowledge of the past and the beauty of the present. And therefore I am that I am. Without the radius of the world of glamour, I take my place. And there I stand. Before the open door that just reveals a different lighted way, I take my stand. Before the presence, I will take my place, and there will firmly stand. And stand I see. Is the incentive of our aspiration on the path. Love is the substance of our living in the world. Love is the light and the light of freedom from all creatures. Love pulses through the universe in a divine rhythm. Love is the consciousness of God. May the holy ones whose disciple I am show me the light I seek. May all mankind, may all humanity of all knowledge, may all light on earth make manifest the soul in all things, all life. I invoke the radiant golden sun to manifest the thread of the soul into the kingdoms of the elementals, into the kingdoms of the vegetables, the animals, into the astral plane. I invoke all humanity to become the caretakers of the kingdom of God. I invoke the will of God as the soul. I stand before the judgment seat of my soul. I am that soul. All love and light am I. I serve the world and lose myself in service. This is my life, and this is the way that I will tread until the day be with us all. Bring forth points of energy within themselves, inaugurating certain new techniques in work and in modes of communication. I invoke the group of telepathic communicators. I invoke the group of trained observers. I invoke the group of magnetic healers. I invoke the group of the educators of this new age. I invoke the group of political organizers. I invoke the group of the workers in the field of religion. I invoke the group of scientific servers. I invoke the group of psychologists. I invoke the group of financiers and economists. I invoke all creative workers as the new group. I invoke the externalization of the inner existing of conditions within these groups through the manifestation and the externalization of the avatar. Okay, just relax. Okay, open your eyes. So that puja is called The Soul I Walk on Earth. And it helps you understand what that means. You got to hear it a lot, and you got to take it in, and you got to listen to all my teachings. That helps. But it mainly means when the soul, I'm a soul walking on earth. That's me, Jesus the Christ. And the reason why I'm the soul walking on earth
is because the soul is the will of God, not mine. It's not yours. It's not about your soul. It's about God. Yeah. And God's will. God's will. Yeah. And we're all righteously running around thinking God gave us free will. And that wasn't God, that was Satan. You know, so you need to really realize that things that I say are for you. They're for you. Yeah? You may go, well, I'll consider that. Don't ever do that. Don't do that. Yeah? You listen to it and you take it 100%. Yeah? Because it's all about the vibration that I'm putting out. You know, so if you listen with respect and you listen with the credibility that the words that are coming out of me, I have no control over. I do not have free will. You do. And this is all the outcome of that. The outcome of that. Yeah. So the thing that I'm representing is God and God's will. God's will. And I'm here to give you your will back. Yeah? You've given your will away to delusion, to a baby, to a child, to a teenager, to you. When you were a kid, you, your ego, you. This is what I'm going to do. This is me. This is it. Yeah. You know, and that's not it. It's not it. You must learn about God, that entity that's outside of you and is inside of you in a very fraction. And that fraction you have to meditate and tune to attune to. Yeah? And that allows you to begin the right relationship with God's will. Yeah, the soul. Yeah. And if you listen to the track, it goes on and on. Near the end of the track, it talks about the new group of world servers. Yeah, and then we're going to invoke the new group of world servers, and we're going to receive the light from the new group of world servers. Yeah, because that's what the soul is. The soul is the will of God, and the will of God goes into people who serve. That's why they serve. It's not self-serving. It's not selfishness. Yeah? It's the will of God. And it's nature. It's natural. It's natural. We just have to get rid of this other radio that's constantly blaring in all the frequencies you can imagine throughout your consciousness. Yeah? Once we get rid of that, and all the fallen angels and the dark lodge and all of that, everybody dies. You must take this in consideration. Everybody dies. And I am in charge. And the ones who are coming back are being blessed because they reincarnate. And you have no idea that that's a truth. And it is a truth. So my truth will set you free. Do you understand? And you're not in charge of it. God is in charge of it. In charge of your death, in charge of your life, in charge of your birth, in charge of everything. And you're going to love that because you're a human being. And human beings have the telepathic rapport with the Lord of the world. Because He incarnates as a human being. So we can relate to each other rather than you relating to animals. Stop your pets. Stop it. Stop hoarding pets. Stop putting them in cages. Stop thinking that you need to have a pet laying on your face while you're sleeping. You don't. You don't need one in your vehicle. You don't need one in the goddamn airplane. What you need is therapy. You don't need a pet. You need a friend. You need love, and you need a better condition. And we all need to change because everybody's turning into animals. And they don't love each other. They love their pets more than they love each other. And they don't love themselves. And they're so confused, they think they're another gender. That's crazy. Now they think they're God. It's hell. It's hell. That's where you got it. So please reconsider and take a deep breath and realize that Jesus the Christ, the one and only, is hanging out here, and I'm not going away. I reincarnate. I'm in charge of you and everything. I'm not going away. Take that in. Trump is going away. He's never coming back. La-di-da. Enjoy.